Hello everyone. In this session, we will introduce the interface of Atelier 7.0 software. Let's take a look together. The software is divided into toolbars. Property Editor. 2D window. 3D window. And status bar. Next, let's take a look at the toolbar. In the File menu bar, there are options such as New Project, Open, Recent Files, etc. Among them, in the Import option, there is the choice to import SMD files. There are export options. Exporting SMD files allows for real-time calculation in UE when used with the simulator plugin. Next is the Help option. The user manual is the software's functional document, which includes explanations of new features in each version, descriptions of specific functions, and answers to common questions. You can input keywords to conduct searches. Tutorials is the official tutorial hub for Style 3D products. You can view the software shortcuts here. You can also customize and modify shortcut keys. Custom shortcut menus support managing shortcut menus with customized middle keys. It can be accessed by clicking the middle mouse button or the mouse wheel. You can customize by adding and rearranging. Once adjusted, simply close it. In About, you can check the software version and updates. Lastly, there are user settings. The preset operations include view control for different software. The view control includes presets for Maya, Blender, C4D, and 3ds Max. And you can also customize the settings. The default coordinate axis can be selected according to personal preference. The user settings also include user interface settings. Among other options, you can customize the save path and data path settings. Then is the History menu bar, which includes some operation information about the history records. Alongside the File menu bar, there are undo and redo options. Additionally, there's the Start toolbar, which includes options for mesh editing, sewing editing, and measurement editing. And also the Asset panel and the Tool panel. In the top right corner of the Tool panel, you can switch between 2D and 3D windows. You can freely drag in between the two windows to adjust the window sizes as needed. Clicking the Maximize button of any window allows you to detach the window individually and resize it as desired. Clicking the Square button will display the window in full screen mode. The Reset Window option in the top right corner restores the default settings. Next is the Scene Management viewport. In the current bar, you can select New. You can switch the display mode. Additionally, you can do copying, opening files, and more. In addition to fabric, it also includes patterns, models, and more. Clicking on the square icon at the bottom left opens the resource library. It includes various resources such as clothing, models, and more. Clicking on the small cloud icon allows you to download online resources. Then in the Scene column, it displays all the elements in the project. The most commonly used one is the Environment panel. Clicking on the background, you can modify the air resistance and gravity acceleration of the scene environment in the Attribute Editing viewport, as well as ground and wind controllers. You can click on the eye icon on the right to control the visibility of elements. If you find that meshes, models, etc. are not displaying in the scene, you can check in the Scene column. The Measure column records the measured information. The 3D state can store drafts in the modeling process. Clicking the small Clothing button in the upper right corner can record the current state of the project. However, it's important to note that the recorded information doesn't have a separate project, so saving the entire project is necessary to preserve these records. The Property Editor allows you to edit the attributes of any selected element. By clicking on the relevant elements, specific attribute information can be displayed. Then it's the status bar. It displays how the current function operates and provides status prompts for certain operations. Then there are the primary 2D window and 3D window. Both windows have a 2D pop-up buttons. In the top right corner of the 3D window, there are 3 simulation modes first. Then there are 3 rendering modes and rendering settings. In the floating toolbar of the 2D window, you can display fabric texture, mesh, transparency, and 2D grain lines separately. And the fabric lines allow you to view the warp and weft directions of the fabric, where the vertical direction represents the warp and the horizontal direction represents the weft. Correct adjustment of warp and weft shrinkage and physical properties can only be made after determining the direction of 2D grain line. Then there are 2D colors, pattern piece information, and length display. In the 3D floating toolbar, you can control the display of the avatar, arrangements, and skeleton and other things. Display of garment and related information. Display of fabric-related information and color indication for controlling the status of patterns. Finally, right-clicking in the window brings up the context menu, including functions like snap, lock, paste, and more. Same to 3D window, including functions such as resetting arrangement, controlling the viewpoint, and more. The above constitutes all the content of the interface introduction for version 7.0. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next video.